Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome back from the break. That was excellent. And I am excited for my buddy who's going to be doing this next session. And this is Steve Turchin, and his session is called Just a Dispatcher Informal Leadership. Take it away, my friend.
Thanks, Ricardo. All right, good morning, everybody. We're going to start interactive right away. So finish this sentence for me in the chat if you can. All right. Police Department, this is Steve. How can I help you? No, sir. I am not an officer. I'm anybody. Come on, I gave it away, right? I mean, it's the name. It's the name of the name of the presentation. Yeah, just a dispatcher, right? Okay. Nobody wants to say it. I get it. Good. At least I know that the title isn't lost on the people in this room. Obviously, everybody must feel the same way that I do when they hear somebody say the three words, "Just a dispatcher," right? Actually, they're just an officer. You actually want to talk to me. I'm the person who's going to be able to help you. But seriously, it's not just a dispatcher, right? And it's important that our people that are using that wonderful sentence don't say it because it does diminish what we're doing. It does diminish the role that we're doing. And this presentation hopefully will help us understand that there's more to it than just being a dispatcher. There's a lot more responsibility. I'm an operator. That works. That works too. So I'm assuming then that none of you folks actually say that on the phone. At least if you're thinking about it, you don't use those wonderful words. I'm not just a dispatcher either. I'm a supervisor, so I don't have to say it. I say, no, I'm a dispatch supervisor, and I put that capital S on supervisor when I have to answer the phone. So, but that brings us to another good point, because when we talk about the roles of formal and informal leadership, supervisor to me is a dirty word too. I don't want to be a supervisor. I want to be a leader in the room, in my department. And I'm sure everybody in this room right now feels the same way. Wouldn't be here all week doing all these great sessions if there wasn't something to bring back home to your people and lead them through what they're going through. And I was telling Ricardo in the green room, I could have probably rewritten this whole PowerPoint after sitting through some of these sessions this week, because just so many ideas that kept coming forward. And I was like, I want to use that. I want to use that. I'm going to steal that. So if you're in here and I watched your session and you hear something that's familiar, take it as a compliment. I'm not stealing anything. I'm regurgitating my information and sharing it with the group. So the key to this whole presentation was, the questions we talked about, and I think Doug hit on yesterday in his leadership presentation, was, can you be more than just a dispatcher without being promoted? You have to be a supervisor to have a role outside of dispatcher. Obviously, the answer to that question is no, right? We expect our people to do certain things, act a certain way, provide certain services, but beyond that, there's a lot more. So what does a leader look like? Interactive. Spit some things out in the chat. What kind of qualities are you looking for in your leaders? Vision, good. More Vicen. I don't know if that. Knowledgeable, confident, good, absolutely. Oh, good. Vision, that's better. Good. Experience. Yeah, approachable, man, for sure, right? Absolutely. Those are all, and we could keep throwing them in there. I'm going to throw some stuff up here that was important to me. These are the three that came to mind for me because it's the three that mean the most to me. especially in our industry. A mentor, a trainer, and a teacher. Because without those roles, what are our people learning? How are our people learning things if we're not doing these things on a regular basis, right? Um, so it's important that the people that are in formal, leadership roles are absolutely these things. If you're not creating opportunities for your people, if you're not teaching them and training them, doesn't mean just when they're in training, doesn't mean just when they're new. As formal leaders, we should always be training and teaching our people. Um, Becoming a leader is about building yourself up. Being a leader is about growing those you are leading. I think you just stole one of my quotes, Amber, from later in my presentation. almost those exact words, but absolutely correct. Um, so leadership. We all have a supervisor or a manager at work. I assume even if we're the supervisor, we have somebody above us. For those of us in the room who are managers, must answer to somebody, a commander, a city manager, whoever your chief, whoever you're at, whoever your chain of command leads you to. But do we all have leaders at work? I talked about earlier. We all have somebody who is a boss, and I think that's also a bad word. When I call my boss, it means I'm mad at her. But y'all have leaders at work? I'm sure you do, because like I said, you're here. Throw a yes or an amen in there if you have a leader at work, so we know that you guys have somebody to follow. But what's the difference, right, between a boss or a supervisor and a leader? Leaders focus on creating a vision, on inspiring others, adapting to change. The supervisor is more likely to manage the team based on organizational goals and guidelines. So if you're a supervisor, you're literally there. You're looking at stats. You're looking at the work being done. You want to make sure people are staying on task, and that's fantastic. That's an important job, but there's so much more to it. Making sure people are energized, or motivated, or goal oriented. Those are things that come with the leadership part of being a supervisor or a boss. Can you be both? Can you be a supervisor or a leader? Yeah, I hope so. It's super important to make sure that you're doing both things. But the people that, and Doug hit on this yesterday, there's some people that are supervisors and we're like, you must have gotten this job when 3 people worked here and nobody else wanted it. Anybody ever get stuck in a room with one of those people? Somebody in this room has had that. Come on. It's just me? All right, it's just me. I'm the only one who's had that. The definition of, okay, thanks, Wendy. Thought I was alone there. I was like, okay, I'm the only one who had a bad boss. That's hard to deal with. Thank you. So the definition of leadership is the action of leading a group of people or an organization. Keyword in that sentence. Keyword in that sentence, action. You have to take action. It's not something you can sit back and just let happen. It's important to be proactive in the role, to create the opportunities for people. Tough shirt. Yeah, you definitely learn who you don't want to be. I'm going to highlight that a little bit later too, Mark. Thank you. Very true. So we talked about qualities of a leader, and I'm going to throw them right up there because we pretty much went over them already. Shares knowledge, caring, and empathetic. Without those 2 things, you probably didn't get to your role. And I'm still talking about formal leadership. We're going to get into the informal role here in just a minute. I don't want you guys to think I'm I fooled you with the informal part because I think that's important. Do me a favor, drop in the chat real quick, just so I know with this group. If you're a supervisor or a manager, or if you're a dispatcher, just so I know what I'm talking to in the group, because it kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. Ryan, you're not just a dispatcher, Ryan. Man, I got some important people in this room. Great. Well, I hope you can take some of this stuff back to your people then, because I am the informal part as we get into later. Really towards obviously it's geared towards those line level people, but we want to make sure that they understand. 20 years to get there. You're only like halfway through your career, Amber. I myself on 18 years. Man, I can't believe it's been 18 years already. All right. Anyway, so the qualities of leader: shares knowledge, caring and empathetic. She's only 22. Okay, so caring, empathetic, listener. You got to be a good listener to be a leader, and it's about active listening, right? You want to make sure that you're listening and hearing the people that you're in charge of, because most people at this day and age, they want to be heard. They have ideas, and they want to know that people are listening to their ideas, that they're having ideas that mean something to people, and that they want to be able to be the people instituting change. Motivator. Something I've had a problem with lately, personally, just on my own. Sometimes I go to work and I'm like, man, today would have been a good day to have a day off. And so to be able to motivate myself, to motivate my people, becomes a challenge for me sometimes. But it's important that you go in there with that attitude, that you're creating that environment that instills people to want to come to work, to want to do this job. This job's hard enough without not having the desire and the motivation on a daily basis. And the biggest quality there for me is at the bottom. Empowers others. There's really no other reason to become a leader or a supervisor than the ability to empower people to create the change they desire. So again, more qualities kind of here. So the reason I put this one on here is for what the people say. A leader says. Leader says we. There's no you. There's no I. There's no expectation that you're going to ask somebody to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. You're going to be in the trenches. You're going to be there helping. You're going to be setting the example. You're going to be letting people take charge and then directing them. And then gives credit. All people want is a pat on the back sometimes. They do a hard job. They do it well. And they're probably doing it well every single day. And if you're not telling them every single day, especially today's workforce, these youngsters, as us people who are approaching 50 are old, as we learned yesterday in Emily's presentation. The younger crowd likes to be coddled a little bit. I don't blame them. I want people to know that they're doing a good job. I want people to be told, hey, we depend on you. You're doing great. You're doing things that we appreciate. Asks. Ricardo mentioned this yesterday in the After the Greatness presentation. He said when he got promoted, he was going to be supervising people that were his peers, and he relied on them because he didn't have all the answers, right? we're smart people. Every one of us in this room or on this telecast at this conference, whatever. We're smart people. We're intelligent. We don't know everything. So ask your people. Don't be afraid to ask them questions, not necessarily for their help, but ask them for their ideas. Ask them what they think needs to be fixed, and then challenge them to give you the answer on how to fix it. We're not engineers. We're not going in there and fixing everything for them. The goal is to create that conversation in the room, give them the opportunity to say, I have a problem, and here's what I think we need to do to fix it. And when you do that, you're involving them in the process, and you're making them responsible for making the change. And then say, let's go. That's a great way to wrap up a conversation, right? If you're sitting there and you don't have a close, if you don't have a way to get some, you just had a talk, maybe you just told people about a new procedure or a new policy, and you had your conversation about it. You let them gripe about it. If they had questions about it, you let them ask about it. Conversation's over. What's next? All right, let's go. Here we go. We're going to do this. So Simon Sinek has been popular this week. Everybody stole my thunder with all their Simon Sinek quotes. Here's mine. Leadership is not a journey to rise in the ranks. Leadership is a journey to help those around us rise. Let that sink in just a little bit. Because the key to this is, if we're formal leaders, we're already reached the level. We've already reached that goal. I'm not saying there's not more for us. I'm not saying this is the end of the line. We made supervisor. Now I'm done. But we've gotten to that level. And it's our turn now to create the next group of leaders. So we are in charge of making sure that we are raising the next group of future supervisors, right? My notes in here say, what is your why? And I'm pretty sure that we heard Ricardo talk about that right in the last session, right? What is your why? If you don't have one, get one. It makes life a lot easier. It makes the job a lot easier if you know what your why is. Mine is the reason I'm here today. I want to educate people. I want to continue challenging people to grow, challenging people to get to the next level. I want to share the knowledge that I've accumulated. I want to do so much more than just sit in my center. And not that I don't enjoy my job, but I think there's a greater good, a greater cause out there than just being in the center and doing this great job. I want more, and that's why I'm here. Let's take a step back, way back, as we get into the informal leadership. Gary, let me read this real quick. So my staff says he's such good leaders and build them up for their dream job, and then they leave us for that job. Gary, I am going to touch on that in a little bit. Okay. So give me, let's come back to it. I'm going to get to a little bit of my background prior to coming into public safety. So on the screen, you're going to see a picture of some plaques here. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 of these little gold ones and one of these little black ones. So what I did before I came to work public safety was I caught shoplifters. I was a loss prevention detective for a store called Burdines back in Florida. If there's any Florida old people in the room, shout out to Burdines. It's now owned by Macy's and turned into Macy's there. But I digress. It's not important. I got hired on at Burdines as a part-time loss prevention agent. And I was trying to get back into that line of work. I loved it. Something fun to do. But these plaques are for Detective of the Month. And what that was we got stats. for each person we caught. And basically, the more you caught, the better you were. You get a plaque for being the best. Um, these are 10 plaques from my first year at Burdines. So this means that in my first year, 10 out of 12 months, I was catching pretty much more shoplifters than anybody else in our district. I loved the job. I had fun doing it. I went to work, sat behind the camera system, and then chased people down. It was fun. The black plaque over there represents the fact that I caught more than 100 shoplifters in my first year. So I was good at what I did. I liked it. I had fun doing it. This second picture, there's about 18 plaques there, and now they got the couple more black ones. This includes my wife's plaques. My wife I met working at Burdines. We were both in loss prevention together. But those 18 plaques are all from my first year there. And we worked in the same store. Prior to me coming there, they did not give out multiple plaques to the same store for success, for catching people. But we were doing so well, they couldn't not give them to us. And the picture that's missing here is that I had 3 other people that worked with us that got 6 plaques that year as well. How did that happen? I went in and motivated people. I loved my job. I enjoyed doing it. When I got there, when I got into work, I said, hey, how many have we caught today? And if we didn't catch any, I'm like, well, let's go get some. And we call up other stores. We call up the neighboring store in the next city. You guys caught anybody today? Oh, you caught 2? We're going to catch 3. We're going to go get more. We'll call you when we get them. And also, when we got there, if I worked with somebody, I shared my point. So if we caught one person, I only take half a point. Because the other person there was working with me. They were doing work too. It used to be if you spotted them, it's your case. I'm like, no, we're working together. We're doing something. We're working as a team. Let's split the point. Do my paperwork, and we'll split the point. And guess what? Everybody reciprocated. So our whole team was sharing, was doing the job, was working hard. We were all motivated. There's only 10 plaques for my first year there because after a year and being so successful, guess what happened? Anybody? Just guess. Guess what happened? I got promoted. Okay, I became a supervisor. I didn't want to be a supervisor. It wasn't something that I had, that it was a goal for me when I started working there. But in that industry, Martin, there it is, promotion. In that industry, if you're doing the job and you're doing it well, you get promoted, you get moved. What I learned once I did that, once I got moved, once I got promoted, supervisor, and then eventually up to manager, is that now I get to instill this motivation in my people. I get to teach people all the things I've learned, all the tricks I know, all the little things on how to hide in the right places, to be available to my store, to my people, to the other detectives that work there. I got to teach them this stuff. I got to create new supervisors. And what happened, I found, was as I moved from store to store, because in retail, what happens, the better you get, the bigger store you get. So I would move from store to store and get opportunities at different stores. And people wanted to follow me. They wanted to come with me. They enjoyed working with me. And that, to me, you couldn't give me enough money to make me feel as good as I felt, because the people that I was leading wanted to work for me. They wanted to come with me. I digress back into public safety here. When I became a supervisor here in dispatch, I put this on my yearly expectations the first year that I became a supervisor. So we give our expectations out to our people. Here's what do we expect from you, blah, blah, blah. So when I considered the opportunity to become a supervisor, the one thing that was most important to me was the opportunity to make a difference, not only for myself, more importantly for those I supervise. I've been where you are, and I know the challenges that exist for each of you. I hope to help you meet and overcome those challenges. I hope to help empower and educate you to be the next leaders of this department. Because that's all I wanted. For the 10 whatever years that I was a dispatcher before I got promoted, all I could do was complain about the things that I didn't like. We didn't have an avenue to make change. We didn't have an avenue to create opportunities to build, to make a difference. And my supervisors didn't afford it to me as much as I would like to. And I promised myself that if I was to get promoted, I'm going to make sure that I don't do that. The most important people in the room are not me. Not. I'm not the most important person in the room. I used to believe that. Probably when I was a supervisor back at Birdine's, I believed that. I'm the boss. I'm in charge. I tell you what to do. I've grown a little bit since then. And I know I'm not the most important person in the room anymore. My people are. I depend on them. They make me better. If they're not doing well, doesn't matter what I'm doing, because guess what? It reflects on me. Okay, so informal leadership. Finally got to it. Only 25 minutes in. Thanks for sticking by me. Here we go. Informal leadership. Here's the definition as per Indeed.com. Informal leadership refers to an individual's ability to be perceived as a leader because of their reputation, credibility, and influence in the workplace. Individuals within an organization view informal leaders as worthy of following or listening to. Keywords are highlighted for those of you who don't know why those are red. Yes, reputation, credibility, and influence. These are the things that our informal leaders have that make them important. Us as formal leaders hold that position of authority, utilize the power that comes from that position to influence others. It's obvious that I am the supervisor or leader in the room when you come in because of my ability to do that. Informal leaders don't have that formal position of authority. They demonstrate leadership by influencing others through personal forms of power. It's tough. If you don't have people that want to be informal leaders, you can't make them be informal leaders. Supervision can be taught. Leadership cannot. That's my belief. If you disagree, I'm okay with that. But I believe that you could teach somebody to supervise people. I could do paperwork. I could be in charge. I could tell people what to do. But can you teach people to lead people? So it takes courage, and there's risk-taking involved with being an informal leader. So those most important qualities there. The most important thing that us, as the formal leadership, can do for our informal leaders is to celebrate them, embrace them, and empower them, because they're the people in the room that make us successful. They make our team successful, and they keep the room driven and excited to be there. So traits of an informal leader. They build relationships. I'm not talking about necessarily making best friends. You don't have to be friendly with everybody you work with. I think probably most of us are. Most of us, I've seen a lot of people. I think I saw Selena post in the last thing, my work is my family, right? I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, feel that way. But building relationships, building trust, knowing the people that you work with, knowing their intrinsic motivators. The informal leader knows this. Why? because they sit on the floor next to the person next to them, and they talk to them. They have conversations. Um, they know what their kids are doing in school. They know when their anniversaries are. They know all the important dates in people's lives. They build relationships, and that's how they gain that trust of the people they work with. They understand the organization. Um, doesn't mean they always agree with everything the organization does, but they understand it. They know how things work. They know what the culture is. They understand the leaders, the history, and the unspoken rules of the workplace. Uh, Most important, they know what battles are worth fighting and which are not. Um, I had to learn that the hard way. I definitely thought every battle was worth fighting for a while, every time, because I'm always right. If you've met me, you know that I'm never wrong. Um, um, but you have to learn that the hard way, and sometimes it's a lot easier for the person next to them to explain that to them than it is for the person above them to explain that to them. Um, they help without ulterior motives. I'm here because I want to be here. I'm helping because it's important that we all do things right. Um, yep. Managers equal monitor. Yep. Um, whew. Can't teach them. Often people are natural leaders and they're just put together. Yeah, we can teach people to lead. I'm not. I don't disagree with that. But we can't force people to lead. I guess is probably more. You could see it in people. I think you know it. You know who your informal leaders are almost right away when they come on, when you hire them. You know what they're going to be, but they have to want to be it. So help without interior learners. They're the early adopters. Here's change. They accept it. They move on. I'm not saying they won't question it, but they're definitely going to be the people who are like, okay, no, this is what we're doing now, and they take it to other people and they make sure that everybody is adapting, is understanding, is believing in what we're doing, is committed to it. They're competent and they lead by character and trust. Y'all know those people. Y'all have them in your centers now. I am quite certain. So how do you become an informal leader? If you're a dispatcher and you want to expand your role, but there's no supervisory jobs available, there's nothing out there, and you're trying to build that resume, right? Improve your reputation. Be accurate and authentic. Showcase problem-solving skills. Make yourself invaluable to the department. Assess your strengths. Whatever you're good at, focus on those things, but then make sure that you're building up all your skills into strengths. Choose a few to improve. Maybe you have to set more attainable goals. Maybe you're great on the radio, but your call taking skills have diminished a little bit. Maybe work on those a little bit. This way you're able to share more with the people that you work with. If you always trained radio as a CTO, maybe step away and train phones next time around. Go back to your roots. At least for us, we start training on phones. You don't get to touch the radio until you get through phones training. So go back to your roots. Go back to where it all started. Make friends. Again, like I said, get to know people. You don't have to become best friends. You might. I'm not saying don't. But it's a lot better to make friends than make enemies. Develop meaningful relationships with the people you work with. Give and receive help. So you're not always the person walking over to somebody and go, "You're doing that wrong. Let me show you." Because that's a good faith effort, right? You're not trying to demean people, But when you see somebody make a mistake, you go over, you want to help. Um, Receive it, take it, make sure that it goes both ways. Ask for it. Sometimes, even if you don't need it, um, makes people feel good to want to be needed. So sometimes you can throw a dog a bone. Ask a simple question. Oh, I forgot how to do this. Anybody remember the mask for this in this Aegis, blah, blah, blah. And when they tell you, say thank you. Oh, man, I forgot. Maybe you didn't forget. Maybe that just helps people feel important, and that's okay too. Um, Sometimes you have to create the opportunity for people to be important, because not everybody wants to be a leader. Some people want to be, and I'm going to say it, just a dispatcher, and that's fine. Embrace those people too, because they are doing the job every day just like we are. As long as they're coming to work, meeting expectations, not being a problem, not being disruptive, those people are important. We can't all uh, be in charge. And Ray, I was saving to right now that everyone is a leader to some extent. Absolutely. I don't disagree with that statement one bit, because everybody has something to offer. Um, you just have to sometimes, as I said, create the opportunity to let those people lead, because some people aren't going to come to the forefront. They're not going to make the effort. They're not going to run to the front of the room and be the person that says and volunteer to help. Not because they don't want to, it just might not be in their nature. That doesn't make them not a leader. They may not be extroverted or confident enough to do those types of things. Uh, they may be they may be very humble. And you have to stay humble. Don't get too big for your britches. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know, and ask for help. Be focused on the greater good as opposed to self-improvement. That's the key there. Give credit where credit is due. Celebrate other successes and be focused on how it helps the team. Your success is driven by them. Oh, okay, Gary. Yeah. Yep. Managers monitor employees, supervisors steer them, leaders lift up their employees. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, that's I look at it as I'm a tour guide. I have to drive the bus, but somebody else is probably the person giving instruction. Somebody else is making sure everybody's buckled in. And as we're going around doing the tour, somebody is telling everybody all the important sites, all the important things that are going on around them. As the formal leader, I just have to drive that bus, right? I got to make sure the bus doesn't go off course. That's my job as that tour guide. Make sure that we're staying on track. Give credit and continue learning. Remember that we don't know everything. Remember that opportunity is out there for training, like the stuff we're doing here today. Continue personal develop, apply what you've learned. Your informal leader is going to seek out training left and right. They're going to want it. They're going to love it. They're going to bring it back, and they're going to share it. It's about creating opportunities for people to be informal leaders. When I came back from the ranch last March, I was inspired by the stuff Joe taught us, and the things that I learned there from the other people that I got to meet. And for me, that's why I go, by the way, to these things. I love going out of state because I get to meet people that I wouldn't normally meet, who are doing things that we don't do and are doing great things that I know nothing about. And I have to know these things. I have to be able to get these things across to my people. So when I came back, I'm trying to figure out, excuse me, how to incorporate some of the stuff that I picked up. And I felt the need to try and help steer our culture, or create our culture, if you will, because I didn't feel our department really had one. So I developed a culture committee for our department. And when I went back to do that, things were really important to me was getting line level people involved in this project. I didn't want other supervisors on there. And I honestly didn't start this committee so that I could be in charge of making change. I started it so that I could get these people, these leaders who would volunteer to come help us create the change they wanted to see. So I came home, I sent out an email. I said, if you're interested in joining this committee, let me know. I didn't turn anybody down. I wasn't. I sent it out to all our line level dispatchers, and if you wanted to be a part of it, that was enough for me. I know that those are the people that want to do that, want to be involved, that want to make change. So I got a great group of people, and in the first meeting, I sat down and I told them, look, it's real important that we set one major ground rule in this committee, is that I'm a supervisor and I came up with the idea of the committee. I am not in charge of the committee. I won't be making any decisions. I won't be making any change. For the most part, I won't be giving you guys the ideas that we're going to move forward with. I put the project in their laps. I gave them autonomy. I gave them the power to come up with their own ideas and to put them into action. I was the conduit between my manager and them. That's all. That's the only reason I was on the committee. They need somebody to be able to go to our manager and say, this is what we want to do, and this is how we're going to do it. I have not, in 9 months, I have not turned down any projects that they wanted to do, any ideas they came up with. I have taken them all to management and fought for every one of them. Because if the people that are doing the job out there every day are saying that these are the things we need to do to make our environment better, who am I to tell them they're wrong? Every idea has been a great idea. Why? Because they came up with it. Because they said, this is what's going to help. I support every one of them. Are they all going to work? Probably not. I mean, odds are that we're going to kick out some ideas that aren't the best ideas, or aren't planned as well as they could have been. But I want people to experience failure as well. Because failure teaches you more than any success. You learn so much from doing hard things. Hannah brought that up. You can do hard things, right? You learn so much from doing the stuff that you never thought you would try, even if you don't succeed at it. But you learn how to do it the next time, or you learn what not to do the next time, as was mentioned earlier. So that's how I brought my informal leaders in to this group, and gave them the opportunity to influence change in their own department. And it's going well. We're doing things. We're celebrating holidays, not just national holidays, but also like the silly holidays like National Crossword Puzzle Day or Bad Poetry Day, or all those different types of silly. Every day is a national something day if there's a calendar for it. So we're doing that. We're pushing stuff out. We're putting stuff on our billboards at work, our bulletin boards. Sorry, projects to get people involved, get people doing stuff, and it's been fun. We celebrate everybody's birthday in our department now. We decorate their locker. Card goes around to all the dispatch. We sign a card, and the committee gets a little gift bag for them. And we're doing fun things just to make people feel good about coming to work. That's what these people thought were important, and they're not wrong. If you treat your people like you care about them, your people stick around. I did want to get back to, I can't remember who it was that said it, something about where we train people, we get them just the way we want them, and then they leave. Maybe, but here's the thing. As a leader, a formal leader, creating people that are going to be the next supervisors, you may not be making the next supervisor in your department. Is that a failure on your part if they leave to go to the next level? That's not a failure. Thank you, Chelsea. No, that's not a failure. That's a success. You've done your job. You have created, you have mentored, you have taught them, you have led them. And sometimes there's not opportunity right in our department. We only have 5 supervisors in my department. And guess what? We're all entrenched in the job. We're not going anywhere. That means that all the people, all these informal leaders that we have, don't have any place to go in our department. I don't want to lose them. I don't. But I will not hold them back. If the next best thing for them is somewhere else, I'm the first person helping them get there. I send people job notifications from other departments. Hey, there's a supervisor opening somewhere else. Not saying I want you to leave, but I know this is something you want. What can I do to help? That if you're developing these leaders of tomorrow in this industry, in this community, in our family, because everybody on here, we're a family. And it's not just the people you work with at your department. It's the people you're meeting today. It's the people you've met at a conference. It's the people you've met when you visit their dispatch center. You're not losing people, man. You're growing people. You're growing people. And that is just as important. Did it create a vacancy at your department? Yep. Guess what? Created an opportunity for you to get another person to grow. Chelsea, I don't want to lose any of my team, but I'll never hold them back. Absolutely. Cassie, we've started having informal leadership workshops once a month so people can choose to attend or not. The goal was to get those ready that aren't ready to take the step to lead or supervise, but think they might. Yeah, great. It's fantastic. You have to be willing to lose good people. If you lose them for the right reason, it's fine. If they're leaving to go work in some other industry, if they're leaving because they're angry and they hate where they work, now we're losing people. Unless, of course, their choices, they're burned out. They can't do this job anymore. Understandable. But when we lose people to supervisory positions at our neighboring dispatch centers, celebrate it. Enjoy that. You did your job, right? We got these people to the next level. We're growing the people that are going to be at Dare to Be Great 15 doing these presentations. 15, Ricardo, we're going to get to 15, right? I mean, why not? I'm just saying, hey, maybe somebody else will be running it, but it's not going anywhere because it's important. We've got 899 people registered for this freaking conference, man. 899 people. 899 of our family members are signed up for this. Recruitment tool to publicly sell. Yeah, absolutely, Chelsea. We're trying to get on social media like mad at our department. And I'm having a problem getting my PIO to put our stuff up, and it's pissing me off because that's what we want to build. We want to build. I'm not just trying to build the community in our center, that culture that wants people to stay. I want to show off people having fun so that people want to work here, right? We have 4 job openings just opened up. By the way, if you want to come to Surprise, Arizona, we got job openings. 4 of them just popped open. I welcome any of you. Um, but I want people to see us having fun at work, to see the things we're doing. I want that stuff out on social media. I want them to know, it's not hot right now. I'm in a sweatshirt. You know, take the summers off. The whole place is a beach. There's nothing but sand here. But I want people to see the things we're doing. They see the stuff the police are doing. Why? Because they're out there doing it. They're always out in the community. We're doing great. We're helping the kids. We're playing basketball with kids at the park. Roxy, thank you. Surprise, please. No, seriously, who's at the door? Anyway, I need people to see dispatch having fun, doing community events. We're started this month, December 20th. We're doing donuts with dispatch instead of coffee with the cop. We're going to Dunkin', just dispatch. My PIO said, "Did you want a police car there?" I said, "Hell no. I don't want people thinking the police are here. I want them knowing that dispatch is here." Because the minute you put a police car in a parking lot and somebody with a badge, they gravitate towards that. I want them to meet us. I want them to see us being excited about our job, what we do. I want us to go recruit more people like us. So we're doing that. These are the things that we're doing now, and we're trying to get that focus on us. More quotes. The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He's the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. President Reagan. No kidding. And then another Simon one. Leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. So those are two of my favorite quotes about leadership. James says, adopt a road program. We'll go out and clean the section of the road and show there's a need. That's a fantastic idea. Yeah, I have grabbed that one. I saw one more quote pop up today. Freaking Halcyon. Always throwing something up there. This one hit me a little bit, though. It's important for me to make the people around me better. It's as simple as that. Steve Nash, basketball player. Make the people around you better, right? That's the goal. Doug says, leave a legacy, right? What could you leave behind? I don't want people talking about me when I retire. I don't want people talking about my job. I want people remembering the things that I did, the things that we did. I said and man, I think I got through most of that thing without it. The things that we do that make it important, right? The things that our team is doing that makes us successful. My contact information is up there. That's my cell phone. Feel free. Text, call, whatever. Send me memes and gifts. I'm available if you need anything at all. It doesn't have to be dispatch related. You guys need something. You need to talk to somebody. You just need a laugh. I'm a little bit of a sarcastic smartass, so get ready for it. But I'm available to y'all whenever. Ricardo, I think I'm done. I made it almost the full hour. I didn't think I would get there, but here we are.
Done. Excellent work. Everything you said was it was on point, man. Enjoyed it, loved it, and the engagement in the chat was that much better. Excellent work. And you're a pro, dude. This was good.
Selena says, I have zero sarcasm. Come on. Zero? Zero. Okay. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Thanks to everybody out there who participated. This would have been really hard without you. I would have felt silly talking to myself. I do it all the time, but it would have felt a little bit silly on camera.
No, the thing that I love about this platform is that the chat is it's real time, man. So when you ask a question, the only delay that's there is however long it takes for someone to type, whether it be on their keyboard or their phone, and hit enter. So, you had to ask the question, and then they started just popping in, popping in, popping in. And I don't know about you, but whenever I see it over there, I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on.
I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I can't keep up. What?
Right.
Say it again. Oh, I can scroll. I can go back.
Well, that was excellent, as I said, and thank you so much for being a speaker, for what you do, for your passion for this profession, and just all of it, man. It was awesome hanging out with you out at the ranch. And I forgot to mention this last night during the After the Greatness. And oh wait, Mark, or when Ricardo's giving stuff away. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So we did karaoke when we were at the ranch, and that's one of the fun things. You go through the entire week of sessions, and then usually on um Thursday night, we all go and do karaoke. Well, that specific class that we all did, every single person got up there.
Yeah.
And when you have Karen walking around, it's like, come on, come on. And then other people are like, let's do this. And you're like, all right, screw it. Let's do it, man. And yeah, Selena knows, she was there.
And we're going to
Yes,
show her video. That's what Ricardo was going to say next.
that's right. Well, next up, no. So that was one of the other things, is that somebody asked, was there any video? And yes, there was video of every single person. However, you had to be there because those videos are in a private group just for us. Woo! You gotta hit up the ranch, man. And there was a lot that came out of that for sure. And I love that you ended up submitting this and everything, and that you went through all of it. It was great. It was excellent. And make sure to reach out to Steve for anything, and also um, over on the community as well. We've got the community building up, and we can all go there beyond the event to continue to network, share ideas, and just forget about the BS that is social media at times, and all of the other things that come with it, the distraction, the ads, and all of it. Bump that. Over there in the community, we can all get together and stuff and ask questions. So you can find Steve there as well. And of course, like he said, he's got his email and everything there too. So thank you, my friend. Excellent work. And we are going to be going to the next session that starts at, let me see here. That one is going to start at 2:15 p.m. So we'll see you in that one next. And that is going to be another session that I'm filling in. And we'll see how that one goes. So we'll see you in the next one here. Thank you all, and we'll see you in a moment.